But Acho, you're up first. Does LeBron have more to win or lose in the finals?
Shout out to the king, first and foremost, for 10 NBA finals. My God.
Aren't you a rapper over here?
But
shout out to the homie.
Let's keep it real, man. LeBron has more to lose than win right now. And again, as a LeBron fan, I had to go back all weekend, and I was thinking about it. I said, hold on now. He made it, but boy, he better win it. Let's look at LeBron in the finals. 07, first time in the finals. Only been in the league for a few years at that point. You lose to the Spurs. Well, the Spurs got three future Hall of Famers and a Hall of Fame head coach. Okay, you had the Mavericks. I'm going to come back to that. But then you lose to the Spurs again. Spurs have 4 future Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame head coach. Then you lose 3 times to the Warriors. They got 3 future Hall of Famers, depending on how you want to count it, Hall of Fame head coach. All of those losses, you can kind of be like, okay, you know what? This is excusable. But if LeBron somehow loses to the Heat, led by Jimmy Butler, is he even a top 70 player of all time? That is completely indefensible. Now, let me get back to this Mavericks loss. The reason the Mavericks loss that LeBron had was so bad wasn't because he lost to the Mavericks. Dirk, a top 5 power forward of all time, top 15 player by my imagination, but I'm from Dallas. I know I'm biased. The reason is LeBron played terribly. It's not that he lost to the Mavericks. It's the fact that how he lost to the Mavericks. So the problem here, Marcellus and Slick, is very, very simple. The greats have those 5, 6 chips as you look at it, whether you want to look at Magic, Kareem, Jordan, Kobe. But by getting 4, that's really not a huge difference from 3. So I think LeBron does, in fact, have more to lose than he does have to win. However, I do think he is going to win.
Wow. Never knew you were out there playing not to lose. And that's the situation. Of course he has more to win if he goes out there and plays and wins the championship with the Lakers. After the drought, the Lakers, the great, the lovely Los Angeles Lakers are back in the finals because of the king. Of course he has more to win. Let's talk about this. First of all, Acho's approach is like LeBron's been great in the finals in terms of win-loss column, in terms of win percentage. You know he is 3-6 in the finals. So it's not like you're going to upset the apple cart if he loses again. That would be 3-7. However, if he wins, then now you got 4. And you go into rarefied air. Why is it rarefied? Because going from 3 to 4, you take away a lot of guys. You start entering that Shaq category. And then you start getting towards that Kobe and that Jordan category. But the reason why it makes so much sense for LeBron to go out there and make sure he wins again is because LeBron is trying to win this fight on the scorecards. He can't win it by knockout. And we know who he's fighting. Michael Jordan, the GOAT. I think LeBron is the GOAT, but I'm not about to have a barbershop argument with you guys. But I know how I can silence you in the barbershop. If LeBron James goes out there for his 3rd time with a different franchise, 3 different franchises, and not only goes out there and wins the championship, but let's win the finals MVP. No one has ever done that. Jordan is going to always win the perfection argument. 6-0 in finals and no game 7. That's how he wins it. One hitter quitter. Bow. One sentence, get out the barbershop. LeBron has to go out there and affect the scorecards. This is going to be a 12-rounder if it's LeBron James. He has to take you into deep water. And how does he do that? By winning another championship with a team that we're used to seeing being great, but of late has not been great. But now the king is here. He has a lot to win in this situation.
Yeah, let me explain how the media works, because the media is going to determine the narrative on whether he wins or loses. Can we agree on that? I mean, ultimately, it's going to be decided by everybody watching. The media coming into this season, and I went back to check because I knew that people had really devalued the Lakers in spite of Anthony Davis and LeBron James being there. But the anticipation was that they were not going to win the Western Conference title, much less win the NBA championship. The great Sam Smith had them as the 4th seed. The New York Times, 8 experts. There was only one who had the Lakers even playing in the Western Conference Finals, and that was losing to the Clippers. The Sporting News had them as the 4th seed. ESPN and their 100 experts had them as the 5th seed in the Western Conference. So this is how the media works. When something extraordinary happens, when the media predicts something and it doesn't happen, they're proved wrong, somebody must have done something extraordinary in order for that to be upset. That's the view of LeBron James simply getting to the finals at this point. So to Marcellus's point, like, he's 3-6 in the finals. If he's 3-7 in the finals, so what? He wasn't coming close to Jordan anyway. The Last Dance put to bed the idea, crushed the idea that LeBron James is in the GOAT conversation. If he goes now 4-6 and he wins a third title with a third team, everybody's going to look at that and say, well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't do that. Shaquille O'Neal didn't do that. Only 2 teams, 2 championships. Michael Jordan had 6 out of 6, but that was all in one place. He will suddenly have something that no superstar has ever done, and that is going to relight that conversation about GOAT, which is something that, as of right now, is dead and gone. That's what he has to gain. If he doesn't win, okay, he's just where he is now, a guy who can get to the finals all the time, but not necessarily win.
Slick, you said some things I agree with, some things that me and Marcellus was like, raggy?
Peanut butter and jelly.
I was a little confused, but I don't even know what to dissect, but I'm going to hop in real quick, Slick.
I'm a good sandwich maker, brother.
I'm going to hop in real quick. LeBron is in the GOAT conversation right now, obviously. The Last Dance was great, but the Last Dance was a little bit fancified. I mean, the Last Dance was phenomenal, but the Last Dance had some extra theatrics. Here's what I will say. What LeBron has done is utterly impressive. I mean, what Jordan did, crazy, obviously. You know, you go 6 for 6, but you're always there with Phil Jackson. LeBron, wherever LeBron goes, whatever LeBron touches, like Midas, it turns to gold. Literally. How you go to a chip with Ty Lue, then you go with Spoelstra, then you come back with Vogel. But that's neither here nor there. Let me say this in a way that everybody can understand. Y'all remember that game, Super Mario Brothers?
Oh, I used to love that.
Oh, we all used to love it. I used to just be on the...
Just the original.
Of course. But remember, the final stage, the final level, you had to beat Bowser. You had to.
Oh, that was his name?
That was it, Bowser. You remember Bowser with the turtle with the red hair? Had to be Bowser. Bowser is Michael Jordan, and LeBron is playing with 1 life left. If LeBron loses his finals, he will be disqualified from the GOAT conversation. Like if you were to lose with 1 life in Super Mario, that's it. You got to turn the game off, that's it. Hand it to little bro, hand it to big bro, hand it to little sister, hand the sticks to big sister. But if LeBron beats this level, he still is just closer to beating Bowser. Because if LeBron gets his 4th chip, he's just closer to catching Jordan. But it's not as though he's going to beat Bowser or beat Jordan on this level. So as I look at it, Marcellus, is very simple. LeBron can disqualify himself from the GOAT conversation right here and now. Sure, he's still in the conversation. But if LeBron loses to the Heat, completely inexcusable. You can lose to the Spurs in 07, that's fine. You can lose to the Spurs with Kawhi plus Pop plus the big 3. You can lose to Steph and KD. You can lose to Steph and Clay and Draymond. But if you lose to Tyler Hero, he's cold, but what is he, 20? If you lose to Bam Adebayo, I rock with him because he's Nigerian, but let's be real. If you lose to Jimmy Buckets, congratulations, but Jimmy Buckets, it's not as if he's a 10, 15-time All-Star. It's inexcusable and indefensible.
Acho, I know why you're doing this is because you don't want to use the word asterisk. You don't want to use that word because you can't pronounce that word. But the reality is you're not taking into account the bubble. The bubble creates a built-in excuse rationale as to why LeBron James wouldn't win this. If Miami Heat wins it with a young team, well, it's because the bubble. It's more of an AAU atmosphere. So Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo and these guys who are closer to playing in AAU tournaments than they are in playing the NBA Finals have an advantage, not a disadvantage. You have Eric Spoelstra, who not only knows LeBron James up and down, but has a huge advantage over Frank Vogel, who's never been in these deep waters before. Oh, by the way, Anthony Davis, never been in these deep waters before. Oh, he's got the oldest team that was supposed to be the 4th or 5th seed in the Western Conference. And by the way, LeBron James is 35. So what should we really expect from him at 35? I just feel as if there are so many things that that anybody who is a LeBron acolyte can point to and say, well, it's amazing that he got to the Western Conference or the finals with this particular squad and this team. We never expected that. You mentioned the finals in 2007 when he lost to the Spurs. And yes, nobody expected them to win, but he didn't take a hit for that. When he was in Miami, He was expected to win because those teams were built, and he took to win championships, not just one, but not just 5, not just 6. And so when they didn't win in 2011, he took a massive hit because he was expected. When he won in Cleveland over the 73-win Warriors, not expected to come back from 3-1, was given all sorts of accolades. It's only when he's expected to win is there a price paid for LeBron James. And right now, in spite of everything, I don't look at this matchup and say LeBron James, in the media's eyes, was expected to win a championship. Maybe as of right now because it's the Miami Heat. But in the big picture, he was never expected to even be at this point.
LeBron James only beats Michael Jordan in the GOAT conversation if he kills him by a death of 1,000 paper cuts. You got to remember, he can't knock out Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan was perfect. Even if he took a break in retirement, 6-0, no game 7s, you're not going to one-hit a quitter that. But a death by 1,000 paper cuts, if you're LeBron, you start to say, well, I had more points, I had more rebounds, I had more assists. My PER was right there, if not higher, depends on how he finishes his career. Number of trips to the finals, number of trips to the finals with different organizations, number of trips to the finals with different organizations and finals MVPs. Like, that's how you kill Michael Jordan. You got to boa constrict him, wrap him around him, and just start to hold on. We'll see if the GOAT, the king, can do that. Coming up, the Bears won behind more Nick Foles heroics. We'll bring in the other Acho, Sam, to see what he'll say about what the decision to bench Trubisky looked like.